It is win or go home in Week 18. The NFC South is up for grabs. First division title in a decade since the Cam Newton era. Tampa Bay losing 7 of their last 8 on a hunt back to the NFC South's top, but they need some help. A win today and an Atlanta loss on Sunday. The playoffs are at bay. 3 huge games this week for playoff seeding or playoff rights, saving the best for last on Thursday with our Steelers and Ravens AFC North winner go home type of game. Ready to go from Raymond James Stadium. Light rain on the horizon, and here we go with Tampa Bay in possession first from the 5-yard line out to the 28. Baker Mayfield was an early MVP candidate this season, and he fell off the face of the earth after the injury to Emeka Egbuka. Chris Godwin comes back. You think there wouldn't be too many underlying issues. You would be incorrect. Unfortunately for him, he had a lot of shaking and baking in the wrong direction of his career. Good to have you guys back, by the way. What up, Lab? PJ, Chili, everybody else joining me throughout. It was the offseason, but now we're back for some playoff berth games. 3 games this week. Here we go. Mayfield off the play action. In Emeka Egbuka. Carl Smith Wade on the tackle there. These two teams have been going in complete opposite directions in the last couple of weeks. Carolina's kind of been all over the place. Getting swept by the Saints looked a lot worse a couple of weeks ago, but now New Orleans on a 4-game winning streak, and that is something that Buccaneer fans love to hear heading into Week 18, needing them to win against Atlanta. Here is Mike Evans on a quick swing route out left, and he'll pick up around 6.5 there. What up, LaShawn? What up, Trex? Glad to have you guys in here as well. What up, Skull Vikings fan? And yes, we will be celebrating New Year's Eve and New Year's Day together the next couple of days as well. But happy holidays to you guys preemptively as Mayfield trying to pick up the opening first down here off of a 3rd and 3 with Chris Godwin in motion. Mayfield facing an extra blitzer, lasers that one down the middle. J.C. Horn arrives to the tackle just a tad late, and it's a conversion to Chris Godwin. Had him in fantasy this week. He put up a stellar performance, 23.8 fantasy points for me. I think I lost in the most heartbreaking way possible, by the way. Needed 40.1 from Bijan. He got me 39.9. Lost by 0.14 in the championship. Baker Mayfield hands out left to Bucky Irving, and he's got some room to roam on his opening carry. He'll pick up 18, my fantasy MVP last season, having kind of a down year, battling injuries down the stretch as well. Kind of feel like that is the narrative of this entire Tampa Bay offense. All the talent in the world, if they can just stay healthy. Pretty much the opposite going on there in San Francisco with their defense. We'll see them tomorrow night in action for the NFC West in the number 1 seed rights in Santa Clara. Mayfield again, hands off to Irving. Got even more room, and it's back-to-back first downs for number 7. What up, TCU? What up, local bread man? What up, Santoriu? We are so back. By the way, just to bring this up out of the blue, Tyler Shuck is a dual-threat quarterback as proven by Madden and then solidified in real life. They were correct about that, by the way. Here goes Irving again into the red zone, just out across the 20-yard line, averaging over 10 a carry early on here on the opening Buccaneers drive. A lot at stake this week, and I'm going to start a poll, actually. Forgot that I have to be doing that nowadays, right? Usually do it at halftime. I'll do it preemptively here, though, since we don't have a pick'em this week. As Mayfield on 2nd and 5, swing passes, he takes the hit. Irving inside the 10-yard line, and it's 1st and goal for Bucky Irving. Baker Mayfield slow to get up. It is going to be a little bit of wet, maybe not this rainy. I set light rain, which is in the forecast in the low 70s for Tampa, Florida on Saturday. Well, Carolina coming in with a 500 record, had them winning the NFC South in the preseason, and they are 1 win away, or potentially a loss and some help away from doing just that. Is up the middle. Goes Sean Tucker. They'll get down to the 3-yard line there, halfway home. But Tampa Bay was red hot at one point during the year. And again, 1-7 in their last 8 games. That's disappointing. It really is. Can't forget the tie option, obviously, either. But the poll is out there. Get your votes in on who you got as Mayfield hands off inside to Irving, sheds one tackle, and help coming there from Christian Roseboom to keep Tampa Bay out of the end zone again. It's 3rd and goal. But we are so back. Let me know who you got for this game, the Seahawks-Niners game, and then, of course, the Ravens-Steelers game. All three should be very exciting and close matchups there for playoff rights and position. Mayfield on 3rd and goal. Gonna hand off to Irving, and he'll lose a couple. Loss of 4 on the play. And this Carolina defense stands strong again. Nick skirting there off the edge. Terrific young player here in Carolina. And he brings the boom there in the backfield. 3 straight rushes inside the 10. After Bucky Irving was getting loose there earlier on. Here comes Chase McLaughlin, one of the best in the business on a rainy Saturday evening. Kick is up and good from 24, and Tampa Bay will take the early 3-0 lead. I'm going to go through my predictions, I guess, and have a gander at who I got. I have the Panthers winning this game, 21-17. I have Seattle winning 24-20, and I have the Steelers winning 13-10 in overtime on Sunday Night Football. Put out an announcement earlier, by the way, on the community tab and in the Discord. But I usually do my annual wild card streams. Going to be unable to do so this year. Come Sunday night, should be hate watching the Ravens-Steelers game from a boat traveling through the Atlantic on an Eastern Caribbean cruise. What up, John Zeller? What up, EG Pro? Good to have you guys in here, as well as Carolina set to have their opening offensive possession with Bryce Young at the helm. Now, me and Bryce have some beef. This one's a little personal. Mentioned earlier, lost in fantasy by less than a quarter of a point. And a big reason why was because of Bryce Young. I had center Owen McMillan. He had a 1 catch for 5 yards. My opponent also had the Seahawks defense. You know where this is going. Bryce Young played some pretty poor football this past Sunday, but looking to bounce back against a much more manageable team in Tampa Bay as McMillan gets the opening target, and it's hit ajar there at the 29-yard line for an incompletion. Here we go. That Sunday night was cinematic. Tell you what, my opponent also had Brock Purdy, so me and the Bears defense have some beef, but I'm loving it. Young from under center, off the play action again, steps left, fires downfield, and it's Xavier Legette, the old country boy, for 23. And what up, A-Rod, trying to come in here and guess an interception on the opening play. Wouldn't want it any other way. That is for certain. I am very happy, though, we have 3 legitimate, meaningful football games into Week 18. It doesn't happen very often. But this game and the Ravens-Steelers game probably mean the most, in all honesty, as Young with a delayed handoff to Rico Dowdle up the middle, and he's going to lose a yard. Questionable heading in today, but he is looking hopeful heading into Saturday afternoon's game here in Tampa. Here it comes. We'll see if it happens. Early look at the poll. 11 votes in, 64% riding with Carolina as Bryce Young on 2nd and long sets Legette in motion. All targets out to his left. He'll fire down the middle. Contested ball, and it's incomplete. Bryce Young throwing another errant pass there down the middle. What a game last night, by the way. Bijan Robinson, unbelievable football player. Why are the Falcons just a team that can beat good teams but can't beat bad teams? I don't understand the Atlanta Falcons. Does anybody? Bryce Young from the empty. 5 wide for Carolina. Extra blitzer coming as wide open Tommy Tremble. Tight end getting in on the action. First down inside Tampa territory past the 40. And Carolina looking to strike back with a tie or a lead-taking touchdown here on their opening possession. Kind of rocking a new setup, by the way, on a new monitor for the second day here. It's a lot bigger. Great picture, and hopefully I can easily identify players more often as Young goes quickly again to Legette, and he will pick up 9 there on the quick crosser. We will be watching J.C. Horn throw a touchdown. That will be happening at some point, surely. Attempting to understand the Atlanta Falcons is it's like staring into the abyss. It really is. I completely get that take. Young on a second and manageable yard. Going to hand off to Dowdle again. Got some room in front of him inside the 20-yard line. Tampa and Carolina going bang for bang there on the rushes up the middle on delayed handoffs. J.C. Horn to A'Shawn Robinson for a touchdown this drive. I think the earth has a better chance of shattering tomorrow at 2 p.m. than that does of happening, but never say never in an infinite universe. Young from the shotgun. Going to hand off again left side to Dowdle, and he's hit hard after a 2-yard pickup. Yeah, I don't mind these delayed handoffs. Can't complain too much. I'll be honest, I don't think I've opened the Madden 26 application in probably at least a month. We'll see. We will see. Who'd I pick today? Man, I miss seeing that question in chat. Believe me. 2nd and 8 from the 14. Bryce Young quickly down the middle. It should have been picked off twice by Jamel Dean. What up, Trey? Oh boy, A-Rod calling a shot. Was that the timestamp that you always called last season? Was it always 6:36? I feel like it was. What up, SM? I feel like that would be most accurate if it were to happen. McMillan in press coverage. Bryce Young had him for a minute. Well, it goes to Leggett for the 3rd time this drive. And it makes it a 4th and 4. So Carolina definitely could go for it here. See what Dave Canales does in his incredible season. Up there for Coach of the Year, although I think at this point it is probably a one-horse race with Ben Johnson. Hard to turn your eye to the Chicago head coach as the field goal attempt here from Ryan Fitzgerald will not us up at 3. Each team stalling inside the red zone. Doing Week 8 team streams because these games are essentially kind of like the playoffs. Mini playoffs, I guess. It depends on the game. But this game for the NFC South title. Tomorrow for the number 1 seed in the NFC. And Thursday for the AFC North likely first round exit. What up, Gip? Called a Kyler Murray pick. The Seahawks had the ball for every 6:36 mark. I do remember that. That was very iconic. Cannot go wrong with that. Ryan Fitzgerald stepping back up to the tee. Underway again we are with a Tampa Bay return. From scratch we go across the 25. Baker Mayfield ready for drive number 2. Chat has been well informed, I promise. The Discord heard about it. The chat has heard about it. Bijan Robinson. Nearly my knight in shining armor. First and 10 here for Baker. And Mayfield. We mentioned again that he has been really, really struggling here, but this is kind of the Baker Mayfield cycle. Talk to a buddy of mine. I just feel like he can't play well unless he is being held under the radar. Something about his underdog mentality. Mayfield back to action off the play action here. Down the field, knocked away, incomplete. Carolina's secondary continuing to do a very good job against opposing quarterbacks. One of the best pass defenses in the NFL. Bears to the Super Bowl, home in Santa Clara. I hope the Bears make the Super Bowl. I want like a gross Super Bowl. I want a Bears-Jags Super Bowl. How about that? I know the Browns have the Jags pick, but maybe Houston. That'd be more interesting. Mayfield again is going to set Egbuka in motion. He went 10 yards behind the line there. Well, a whole lot of eye candy right there. I have no idea what that was about. Going to go ahead and say that was not intended to happen in the programming. But it will be a first down to Bucky Irving. Really hope the bugs in this game get fixed. In particular, the clock management. Heading into next sim season. Got plenty of time for them to fix the game, but we'll see what happens there. As Mayfield going to loft one down the middle. That is Egbuka this time, running a normal football player route. He'll pick up 7. I think Houston might be the most dangerous team in football. They have won 8 games in a row. Their last loss was to the number 1 seed in the AFC in the Denver Broncos. And, yeah, their defense is disgusting. That is sick. Titans going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, it has to happen, right? Cam Ward and that illustrious Titan offense. Hand off to Irving, patiently waiting for a hole to open up. And he will get halfway to the line to gain there. 3rd and short coming up in the final minute of the opening quarter. We'll see what happens there. But, yeah, I mean, I legitimately think an AFC South team will at the very least make the AFC Championship, whether it's Jacksonville or Houston. One of those 2 teams is destined to play either Denver or New England. Won't be both. Mayfield going to loft one deep downfield off the play action. Evans has a step, untouched and finally down at the 12-yard line. Beautiful ball from Baker Mayfield. That was a vintage pass there. Looking like OBJ in week 2 against the Bengals in 2020. What up, Cassie? We got over 20 people in chat in the family reunion stream here. Panthers and Buccaneers for the NFC South. I got to ask if there are, I know there's obviously a Saints fan in here, if there are any Falcons fans too. Who are you rooting for to win this game? I have to wonder. I would imagine Carolina, but can never be too sure. As Irving goes left side, daylight ahead of him, breaks some ankles, and it's 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. Could have gotten to the end zone there, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, if he would have lowered his head. Most exciting thing about the Bears is how young that offense is, for sure. They don't have to pay a lot for a majority of those guys. And Caleb, really not doing anything extraordinary. Just managing the game, but he is getting better. As here we are at the end of one from Raymond James Stadium, 3-3. This game gets to host a playoff game. Kind of gross when you think about it. But you never know. I mean, the Vikings were 14-3 last year, taking on the 10-7 Rams, and they got blown out, not even in the Rams' home stadium. That was pretty rough. Going to go 98 yards the other direction for 1st and goal from the half-yard line as Mayfield with another delayed handoff, and it's read well again. Carolina's red zone defense standing tall. Nick Skirton picks up his 2nd CFL of the opening half. Baltimore-Pittsburgh is going to be Thursday night. That'll be your New Year's Day feast. I'm trying to figure out, because I know obviously Ohio State plays tomorrow night, and then there's more games on Friday. Might just have to have that on the background as Irving almost lost his footing there. Some weather playing an impact. First time we have seen that in the new Madden. Obviously, that was one of their selling points this year. But we haven't had weather turned on because obviously we're predicting months and months into the future when we stream in the summer. But here we are a couple days away. We got the weather report. And that bites Tampa Bay in the knee. 3rd and goal again from the 4. Mayfield sets up a screen. Bucky Irving got nobody ahead of him, and he will eventually find his way to the end zone. Tampa Bay takes their lead back. Bucky Irving on a screen. There was one Carolina Panther in the vicinity facing 2 offensive linemen, and Christian Roseboom there stood absolutely no chance. Tampa Bay with the opening touchdown. Yeah, Mike Vrabel, that's a good point. He's up there too. It is really a 2-horse race. I think you got to give it to Ben Johnson, though. More or less because of what happened to the Lions this year. You know what I mean? They took a big step back. Bears took a big step forward. That says a lot about Ben Johnson, in my opinion. We've known who Vrabel was for a while as McLaughlin slots the extra point there. Cannons fire through the rain. And with 9:07 to go, Tampa Bay will kick it back off. Yeah, who do we got for our awards now that we're getting down to the nitty-gritty? Drake May, I think, has probably won MVP at this point. I think there's probably 2 awards that are up for discussion, maybe 3. I feel like Offensive Player of the Year and then Defensive and Offensive Rookie of the Year are the only 3 that are really up there. I think Schweschinger's going to win D-Roy. Tet should win O-Roy, although Tyler Shuck with a 5-touchdown game next week could very easily take that award for himself. And then the Offensive Rookie of the Year, or the Offensive Player of the Year, I should say. Hard to tell. It could be McCaffrey. Could also be JSN, although he is kind of stalled down the stretch here. But it's good to know that Myles Garrett's got the Defensive Player of the Year wrapped up. That's a rewarding feeling as a Browns fan. It's been a rough year, but you know what? We improved. We had one more win this year than last year, even with a loss here next week. Am I satisfied with the season? Maybe not. But I did predict us to go 4-13. As a check down goes for a yard there to Jalen Coker. It'll be a couple feet moved up the field there. What NFL game is the best game of the year that you watch? I think, and I know people are going to try to treat recency bias. They might go Bears-Niners or something like that, Rams-Seahawks maybe. We cannot forget about the Bills-Ravens Week 1 Sunday night game. Still, in my mind, the best game of the year. 2nd and 9 after a 1-yard pickup. Tommy Tremble in motion. Delayed handoff again to Rico Dowdle. Taken down behind the line. Both of these teams getting down in the trenches. What up, Coffee Warrior? Let's go. You are my always my stream reminder to remind you guys to hit the like button. Try to get to 12 here on our return stream. 1 of 3 coming up here during the week. Here goes Young on 3rd and 11. Steps up, and Yaya Diaby brings them down for a 2-yard loss. The opening sack belongs to Tampa Bay. There you go. Rams Seahawks game of the year. Again, that's understandable. I see nothing wrong with it. There were a lot of very, very good games. Was watching the Browns game this Sunday. It was so funny seeing Rodgers go to MVS like 3 times in a row for the win. I was in attendance for that game. I try to make it a force of habit to go to every Browns-Steelers home game because, quite frankly, feels like the Browns win every one of those games. We are 6-1-1 in our last 8 games against Pittsburgh at home, so it is a good feeling as the Bucs will call for a fair catch here at the 41-yard line and get back into possession. Bucky Irving off to a hot start, averaging just under 5 a carry through his opening 9. But yeah, Browns might be 4-12 this year, but they're 2-0 when I'm in attendance. Went to the Dolphins game back in October and the Steelers game a couple of days ago. So I would prefer the Ravens to win the division over the Steelers. That is just my humble opinion. So I'm glad we can help out Baltimore. Hopefully they get it done on Sunday nights. Cade Otton is in the backfield here, the big tight end. Going to be a lead blocker for Bucky Irving, or so Tampa Bay had hoped, as that one will go backwards again. Nick Scott, the safety, comes screaming up the A-gap to make the tackle. What up, Gamer Kid? Appreciate it. Shout out Coffee Warrior, man. Spread the love in the MSG community. Mayfield going 2 left and 2 right on 2nd and a dozen. Well protected, dumps it off to Godwin across the 50. That's a first down strike. Going to be a bit of a free-for-all in terms of my commentary, getting back into the thick of things here within the next couple of days, but just a little vocal reminder for my larynx as well as my vocabulary here for the next couple of days. But it should be a whole lot of fun as Mayfield's going to hand off again to Irving. And as the game is going on, he has found less and less available space. It's a gain of a yard there on 1st and 10. Yeah, I know I talked about it in years past, but I think this year I might try to do a college football national championship stream. Whether or not I would commentate over that, still up in the air, but we'll see what happens. Mayfield again from an empty backfield. Extra blitzer coming a bit too late. Evans catches that one, pulls away from the tackle. Stiff arm delivered inside the 20-yard line. He's off to a great start. 78 yards on 3 catches, and the Bucs back inside the 20. Slippery day in Tampa, Florida. Fun watching how Madden plays out when it doesn't know what's actually happened this year. It's a good point. They try to adjust the ratings, but obviously the players don't know what's going on. That is for sure. Irving goes right side, almost got away, but again he'll lose 3. Nick skirting again. CFL number 3. Week 7 Bengals Steelers. That's fair. Not a terrible shout there. The Unk Bowl was definitely very, very intriguing. That was a good watch. Panthers putting 5 on the line here. See if they send them all. On 2nd and 13. They drop one in coverage. Mayfield finds the open man. Read that Carolina defense very well. It's an 8-yard pickup. NFL season was very drunk. It has been a very weird year. Not going to lie there. If the Bucs win Saturday, it means Falcons need to beat or lose against the Saints. You are correct. That would be very intriguing. I just feel like the Saints probably win that game regardless, though. We'll see. 3rd and 5 here for Baker Mayfield. From the 13, Mayfield going to fire to the end zone. It's caught by Evans. Came back for it at the half-yard line. So denied a touchdown by about a foot. But it's 1st and goal at the 1. And the Bucs offense cannot be stopped right now. Mayfield throwing it back to his September football days when he was in the running for the MVP. Which right now it feels like Drake May and Matthew Stafford are the only 2 real candidates for the award. 1st and goal, Mayfield hands off to Irving, tries to cut up the middle and somehow doesn't get there. Carolina makes a stand. He had the left side wide open and he tried to cut back right. Incredible. Going week by week for the best game. Bills, Ravens, Giants, Cowboys, Bucks, Jets. I agree up to this point. Baker back under center, second and goal. Handoff to Irving, and this time does not turn left or right. Goes straight north to south for the touchdown. His second. Seahawks, Cards. Yep. Bucks, Hawks. Yep. Bears, Commanders. Great game. Good shout. Yeah, Carolina could still win it even with a loss, which is a good feeling for them. Funny how bad the NFC South is, with all due respect. But, like, the Saints, man, I feel really good about the direction they're going. I'm not going to lie. McLaughlin slots the extra point again. Tampa's lead is 14. But if we're being extreme, has won 4 games in a row now. And Tyler Shuck has looked really, really good. Like, abnormally good for a guy that we didn't expect to even play, I guess. Well, I guess we might have expected him to play, but not to this level. I don't know. But again, in the NFC South, you only have to win like 9 games to have a realistic shot at the playoffs, and maybe this year it's even less than that. As Carolina back with the football, out across the 25-yard line to the 28. They're in dire need of Bryce Young's heroics here. What a weird quarterback Bryce Young is coming out to be. You feel like, some weeks it feels like it's 2023 Bryce Young. Some weeks it's, wow, he's lighting it up like he was in college Bryce Young. Maybe he's due for a good game, though. Saints praising the stream. There it is. I got to give him credit. They're red hot right now. As this pass going backwards to Rico Dowdle, it's going to be marked as a rush and a loss of 2. Have not seen a play like that yet. Interesting. Very cool, though. I think they're underdogs this week, by the way, in Atlanta. I could be wrong. That probably has changed since I looked at it last because of the Falcons' win over the Rams, which not a lot of people expected. As Young on 2nd and 12, going deep down the left sideline, a wobbler, and it's way out of bounds, incomplete. Didn't even give his receiver a chance there. And so 3rd and a dozen coming up here. Carolina desperate to find a conversion. Bears-Niners NFC title game. I would love that rematch. That would be cinema. Dowdle in the backfield to the right side of Young. 5-man rush it, untouched up the middle. Tampa Bay's got another. Sack number 2. And it's Parrish, making Bryce Young Parrish in the pocket. So many injuries, the starting lineups no longer exist from the preseason rosters. Only had to tweak one thing on the Carolina side of things. So NFL Madden roster updaters not doing too bad of a job there. Can't be too upset about it. But Sam Martin will step up to punt it away. Tampa bringing pressure, not going to get home. And through the raindrops here in Tampa, a fair catch called for at the 43-yard line. So Mike Evans back out onto the field, has not dropped the football that has been thrown in his direction all game long. 4 for 4, 91 yards, and set up that last Bucky Irving rushing touchdown. Just over 3 to go here. Carolina receives the second half kickoff. And so their defense trying to preserve a 2-score deficit. Irving up the middle has different plans, but hammered down by Trevon Moehrig, former Las Vegas Raider. And he must be counting his lucky stars to be getting out of that hellhole in Vegas. My goodness gracious. I don't know who the craziest person I could say is here. You put the worst human on planet Earth currently next to Geno Smith in a room, and I think Raiders fans would be about 50-50 right now on who they pick. As the handoff goes to Bucky Irving, he'll lose a yard there. But I legitimately don't think there's a team right now that feels worse about their future maybe than the Raiders. There are legitimately players that are opting to retire rather than playing for that football team, which speaks very loudly about the direction of that franchise. Here goes Mayfield on a 3rd and 5, locked into his X-Factor against the 4-man rush. Goes up top, coming back for it's Godwin, and he'll lose a yard there. Not a very wise play given the yardage. And down a distance, that should be a running clock. Although Madden doesn't really understand that going out of bounds backwards equals the clock continuing to tick down. So, well, I guess now it will. See if the Bucs wait before the 2-minute warning. They will punt it away, and so the 2-minute warning will take place after this. Fair caught at the 11-yard line with Tampa Bay ahead. 2 scores here, 17-3 at home in front of a soaking wet faithful in Tampa, Florida. I have no idea why Baker has an X factor. Great question. Larry Fitz first ballot? I think so. I don't see why not. I think it's funny that the media thinks the Giants want to trade Jackson Dart and draft Mendoza. I don't think the Mendoza hype is warranted. I am not a Mendoza believer. Bryce Young in the 2-minute drill needs a score at the minimum. Finally picks out Tataroa McMillan there. His rookie out of Arizona, who will pick up 2. I don't disagree. He would go hard as the Raiders quarterback. But look at his touchdowns against the Buckeyes, the Nittany Lions, the Ducks, and everybody else. You'll notice he doesn't play very well against pretty good teams. Handoff goes up the middle to Dowdle. Tries to limbo between a couple tackles. He'll pick up 4. And neither team wanting to take a timeout just yet, with 3rd and medium coming up here from inside the 20. Mendoza going to go to the Raiders. Jets and get his career completely ruined. I mean, probably. Poor Jets, man. I thought they had it this year. Not going to lie. Bucs bring in extra pressure again, and Dowdle had the open wheel route there. And Bryce Young overshot that one through the rain. Unfortunate. That was going to be a thing of beauty. Man. Would have gone for at least 25, if not more, with one man to beat down the sideline there. Sam Martin, though, has his number called very quickly again. And he will boot this one away. Right back into the hands of Baker Mayfield with a return taken out to the 47-yard line. 60 seconds to go. And 53 yards away from another touchdown. Although they would take a field goal and a 3-score lead in the halftime any day of the week with the NFC South up for grabs. Taking a look at our poll real quick. 23 votes are in. 74% of you believe Carolina will win this game. I am polling for Carolina this week. Would love to see him get it done. Mayfield on 1st and 10. Back to it after a short break of 3 plays. Mayfield zips one complete. Caught by Evans. Hand to the ground, and he'll turn upfield to pick up 8. Just a hair away from 100 yards in the opening half for number 13. What up, Jason Green? I think there will be a touchdown on this play. Well, I read it now, so maybe on this play. We'll see what happens here. You just never know. I really didn't think the Jets would have it this year, I'm not going to lie. I thought Justin Fields would be doing good things for him, but it seems his tenure in the NFL is probably coming to a close. Mayfield going to zip one right back to Mike Evans again. How is he finding himself so open? Inside the 30-yard line, 6 for 115 in the opening 19 and change. Wow. That is a big catch and run there for 13. Who, fun fact, is one good game away from another 1,000-yard season. He just needs 666 yards. As Bucky Irving up the middle to the 20-yard line again. They'll give him the 19. And Tampa takes their second timeout in scoring position. Welcome back, Lab. Yeah, it's unfortunate that the Mike Evans record will be ending here. 1,000-yard seasons consecutively. It should have ended last year. What they did was rather gutsy at the end of that game, but cool to see him get his 1,000-yard title. That is for sure. 25 ticks of the clock to go. On 2nd and 2, it's Godwin in motion. Mayfield again. 4-man rush, unfazed, delivers to Ibuka. It's 1st and goal with time running out, and they will mismanage their time well enough to settle for a field goal in Madden fashion. What up, Scribble? Any baddies for Christmas, bro? I was hoping you would give me some. I was waiting for you, bro. I mean, you're like, you are the MSG professional in this aspect, I suppose. If we're really throwing it back to the 2023 simulation season. Feels like a quarter century ago at this point. Seahawks Niners is tomorrow night, yes. Trying to figure out exactly what time, tentatively at 8 p.m. Eastern, but who knows with the years in Ohio State and all that good jazz. We'll see what happens there as McLaughlin on for a 23-yarder just before halftime. It is up and good. And Tampa Bay will take a 20-3 lead into the break. Carolina on the ropes here on the road. Post-COVID timeline is very crazy. You're not wrong. I have vivid memories from like 2018 to 2020 and then everything after that. For the most part, I have like a memory a month. It's rather sad. Oh well. I mean, I suppose the majority of my hobbies were just playing Fortnite for 5 hours a day and scrolling TikTok, so that would make sense as to why I don't have very many fond memories in that timeline, as Carolina will take us to halftime. That was what everybody was doing around 2020 and 2021. What else was there to do? 20-3 the halftime score. Did not expect this at all. Our poll up to 25 votes, 72 to 20-8, of course. A couple people had to vote for a tie. Weird for not voting tie. I mean, hey, to each their own. Did we have a tie in our Sim season? I don't know. I don't remember if I deleted the standings or not. I hope I did. I would love to go back and look and see what happened as the second half is underway with a Carolina return to the 26. Let me have a gander. Division standings. There we go. We did not have a tie in the 2025 Sim season. Unfortunate. When I tried to stop a tie from happening? Did I? I don't remember that. Can't remember what game. I'm sure it's happened, though, and that game probably did end in a tie in extremely disappointing fashion. But oh well. Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers have got to find a different gear here in half number 2 if they want to win the NFC South today without having to worry about the Atlanta Falcons winning tomorrow. In the Madden timeline, of course. Madden trying their hardest to rage bait me. Yeah, I forgot you're a Panther fan, so it might be working a little bit. Happy for you, though, to have a very good season. I'm happy for a lot of teams, fans of teams that have been rough these last couple of years. Finally starting to open up as McMillan lunges there for the line to gain. And despite his best effort, marked inches short. Yeah, that is just not true. My first year of streaming was, I guess, the end of my sophomore year into my junior year of high school. I'm now a second year in college. Hard to believe as Bryce Young tries the quarterback sneak and he's not going to get it. How dare they try the middle of the field against the big fellas here in Tampa. Vita Vea and Greg Gaines deny the quarterback sneak. Why would you ever go the direction of Vita Vea? I do appreciate the quarterback sneak, though. How about this? What a decision from Canales to go for it. 4th and inches from the 36. Here we go. Handoff to Downall, and he's not going to get there. No, he did. Oh, my goodness. That's a horrible spot. I need a review. Wow. I need a second look at this one. And I think Todd Bowles would like the same. But he's not going to get it. First down is awarded. And Carolina, by the skin of their teeth, retains possession. Young being chased in the pocket and maybe a ball don't lie moment. The third sack for Tampa's defense. A loss of 8 on the play. Bryce Young dumped down once again by a defensive back. That's the second time that has happened. Tampa Bay feeling themselves here in the third quarter. 18 minutes away from having hope restored. Could be a crazy ending to this season. Young on a 2nd and 18. Tampa shows a rush of 4. Young going downfield, knocked away by Jamel Dean, who says no, no, no to the Panthers sideline. Do not test that man in a one-on-one. Everybody calling for a turnover. You know what? I'm calling for a touchdown here. Everybody wants to see the defense win. I think Carolina's offenses do. Watch this touchdown. 3rd and 18 from the 28. Bryce Young steps right, throws on the run, caught by McMillan, and he'll pick up 4 on a short yardage gain there, and nobody was right. How about that? Watch this punt. How about that? There we go. Jamel Dean washed? He might be. Yeah, cheers. Cheers to that touchdown call. Sam Martin on for the punt. Been the man of the hour, more punts than points for Carolina. As no fair catch signaled for and devoured in the backfield at the 26-yard line there is, I believe it's Sterling Shepard. That's definitely wrong. Throwing a name out there. What a half, though, for Mike Evans. 6 for 115 and nearly had a touchdown there on the 4th Tampa Bay drive. Just a little bit short of the end zone. But the Bucs offense unstoppable as it sits right now. With Baker Mayfield going back to work. Shotgun formation. Will hand off to Bucky Irving. Carolina gets his run, and they will reap the benefits of their correct hypothesis. 2-yard pickup. Well, taking a look at the future schedule here of who's going to play who. There is some seeding on the line this week. And the AFC seeding, specifically the 1 seed, really interests me as Mayfield steps up and takes off. He has been doing this a whole lot the last couple of weeks here. Here's a fun fact for you guys. The Jacksonville Jaguars can still clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC. That is true. It is not impossible. The problem, though, is that the Patriots have to lose this week, which is probably just not going to happen. As Mayfield fires it outside, caught by Godwin, who will gladly take a yard there, hit right at the line. Short yardage dump off again. Browns game is most rigged. BS, I agree. I mean, I was there to watch it in person. I wholeheartedly agree. I don't understand. By the way, if Boz makes that field goal or just doesn't even attempt it, I win in fantasy. You hate to see it. Mayfield off the play action. Ripped that one back into his own hands and finds K. Dotton up top, who will pick up a half dozen yards that time. Definitely the Bucs offense from last year. Yeah. There is that. I really hope this game has no turnovers. It's going to be hilarious if that is the case. Watch this not turnover. Watch Baker Mayfield go to work on 3rd and 3, facing a 4-man rush. Steps right, and he's taken down. Carolina finally has their first sack. It has taken almost all game, but Derek Brown, midway through the 3rd quarter, delivers a huge defensive stop, and maybe that'll give the offense some hope here off of the punts. Bosman, the field goal to 1 G League championship. Yep. Yeah, hate to see it. Riley Dixon on for the punt here. He will get this away for a fair catch to Trevor Etienne. And Carolina takes over at the 22-yard line with 5 to go in the 3rd quarter. I'm going to be honest, the Pro Bowl is a complete, and I mean a complete popularity contest at this point. I don't take it seriously. I don't think Pro Bowl or All-Star selection should be considered when deciding Hall of Famers or like in GOAT debates. You know what I mean? Kind of getting washed out of the picture now with all of the fan application there. Young off the play action is hit hard off the hands of Yaya Diaby. An incompletion, but Young had no time to breathe there. That play lasted 3 seconds. He probably had about 8 cents to even think about where he was going to throw that football. Yeah, I don't know. Carson Schlesinger was also snubbed. Not going to lie. Oh, well. Quick pass outside on 2nd and 10 is dropped again. Looks like that was what they were trying to do last play. And the same result, different level of pain taken, though, from Bryce Young that time. He will appreciate that. But it does bring up 3rd and 10. And here we go. Carolina with just a single 3rd down conversion all afternoon. Bryce Young steps and delivers. It's caught, but taken down immediately is McMillan. Morrison there makes a great open field tackle. And honestly, I wouldn't blame Carolina if they wanted to go for this. I really wouldn't. Last time we saw Chris Jones make a positive play. Good point. You make good points. Sam Martin will punt this one away on 4th down and 3 at the 32. That should be considered a muffed kick, I'm not going to lie. Look at Baker Mayfield really turn back the clock, though. 18 for 19 in the most important game of the season. Good for him. Very, very good for him. We got 20-some-odd people in chat watching the NFC South clinching game. Don't forget to drop a like down below. We are going to be back tomorrow for Hawks and Niners, and then Thursday for the Ravens and Steelers. Sunday Night Football. Looking forward to it. As Mayfield going to hand this one off up the middle to Bucky Irving, who will get this drive started with a pickup of 2. Tampa Bay going to look to chew some clock here with this 3-score lead. MLB All-Star Game is the only good All-Star Game. I would agree. But I think the fundamentals of that sport make it a lot easier and a lot risk-free, a lot more risk-free, to be more competitive and more like the actual sport should be. Mayfield on 2nd and 8 will dump this one down, complete to Irving, and he has had a couple of good catches in this game, including a touchdown. Baker Mayfield feeding. I like the, maybe it's not, I don't know if that's considered the NHL All-Star Game or not. Whatever the Four Nations face-off thing is, I guess it's kind of like the World Baseball Classic. I love that. That's really, really good for hockey. I enjoy that thoroughly. Mayfield on 1st and 10, hands off again to Irving, doing a great job of hanging on to that football through the thick of it here. In between raindrops in the Sunshine State. They might just call it that for fun, I suppose. What up, Arvera Robinson? Good to have you in here for the 3rd quarter. Let me know who you cheering on today. As Tampa approaches the 50-yard line, Mayfield back under center. Goes to Irving again, got a block from Igbuka, one man to beat, and he's taken down with a touchdown-saving tackle at the 37. Rookie almost threw a great block there for the second-year running back. Don't think NHL isn't doing the Four Nations face-off thing this year, although that was their all-star. That was a lot of fun, though. Wish they would keep doing it. I-formation handoff to Rashad White, and nobody in the secondary. White is going to go untouched for 6. Where was the Panther defense there? And it's not like they surprised them with the run. They were in the I-formation. And somehow, Rashad White's opening carry goes the distance. That might be the dagger. Still going to be a 3-score game, but 3 scores that require 3 2-point conversions. NHL has players from the least amount of countries, you think? Has to be, right? As in, like they have, well, that's a good question. As McLaughlin would have put that one up and through. Because of the Olympics, that makes sense. I got you. Must have been like that historically, too. Very interesting. I don't pay a ton of attention to hockey. I mean, with all due respect, I would be subject to being a Columbus Blue Jackets fan. And respectfully, I can only take so much pain in my other sports teams. Although the Cleveland Guardians had quite a surge there in September. For those of you that don't know, I worked with them over the spring, summer, and fall. So that was a lot of fun to be a part of that with each game day. As Carolina gets this return up to the 28-yard line. And they need points, and they need them now. Opening drive went for a field goal to tie the game up, and since then, 24 unanswered from Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay offense. Pretty sure Mayfield still has just 1 incompletion on the late afternoon, folding into the evening here, as it is pretty much sunset now by the 3rd quarter. Bryce Young going back to work with Tommy Tremble in motion from the pistol. Tremble going behind Dowdle. Handoff is going to go to Rico, and he'll lose a yard. Shout out that Rico Dowdle. What was it, 2-week stretch where he had 200 rushing yards back-to-back? That was very cool. Madden has successfully rage baited. Yeah, I think this game will be a lot more competitive, especially after Carolina beat him a couple weeks ago. We'll see, though. As the Bucs bring in pressure, Young is hit hard. It's incomplete. Great hustle there to the sideline. That is Tyke Smith who forced that one incomplete. Maybe he was on the pressure, actually. I believe he was there on Bryce Young rather than the pass breakup. What up, Flash Gordon? It's like the Bucs won the coin flip at the start of the game, so it seems. 3rd down and 11. Just a 4-man rush this time. Bryce Young has some time to make a decision as he launches one downfield, and Leggett tiptoeing through the raindrops across the 50. You can see him slipping there, trying to catch his balance to pick up a couple yards after catch. And across the 50-yard line, Carolina does find their first down. Well, if this result holds, Carolina still alive until tomorrow. Potential chaos there with the Saints Falcons as Dowdle gets the handoff again. Panthers, though, what they win, will secure the division. Carolina needs that touchdown, and they need it now. Taking it from Prime Ray Lewis and full pads in exchange for one more season of LeBron? Yeah, probably. It's got to be prime LeBron, though. He's kind of fallen off now. Happy birthday, LeBron, by the way. Throw something on the grill for that. As Dowdle up the middle again, Tampa Bay's got him again. Another tackle for loss in the backfield. Tyke Smith and Barish collecting a half TFL each. I don't think TFLs get split, actually. Wonder why sacks do and tackles. Well, it probably has to, because if tackles get split, well, I guess it's just assisted tackles then. I'm not sure. Young on 3rd and 9, steps up and takes off. Here goes number 9, makes the man miss, and he'll pick up 16. I'm not calling him 9 because of what happened to 9 during the season. That was an unfortunate turn of events there for Minnesota. But it did happen. That's a good point, Aaron. Hadn't thought about it like that. Handoff goes to Rico Dowdle. He'll pick up a yard. Carolina really can't afford to run the football too much more here, but they continue to do so anyway. And that should take us right about to the end of the 3rd here. I didn't turn on the accelerated clock. And I actually don't remember what my settings are, I'm not going to lie. I think I usually do 20 seconds. So we'll see what happens. As we head to the 4th quarter, all Tampa Bay here with the division title on the line. Yeah, assisted tackle. I mean, I knew that obviously made sense. That is for sure. Young from the empty on a must-score drive for Carolina. And Young is going to be taken down. Half a sack there for Vita Vea. Big fella made a huge play on 3rd and 1 earlier on a Bryce Young quarterback sneak. And he will find himself another sack. One of the all-time greats for Tampa Bay. 3rd and 16. McMillan in coverage. One-on-one up top. Bryce Young got to make a decision. Standing tall, and Vita Vea's got one to himself. It's a 6-yard loss. That'll knock Carolina at a field goal range at this point. You might just have to go for it. That is number 5 for Tampa Bay. Looked like Caleb last year just holding the ball, yeah. Ben Johnson has truly worked miracles. Does he want a 10-day contract with the Browns? I feel like he could help out. Maybe in the offseason. We'll see. Panthers, though, in desperation mode. They have to go on 4th and 22. They need the 19.5-yard line. Young steps up, and Vita Vea's got him again. 2.5 sacks in 3 plays. Do not test number 50. Turnover on downs. Tampa Bay takes over and likely slams the door shut on any hopes of a Carolina comeback. Gross for Vita Vea. Wish he still had the long hair, but oh well. One of my favorite Madden players to watch year in and year out. We'll never look at the number 9 the same. Yeah. That is 100% truth be told in that one. 9:01 to go. And you figure every play from here on out should either be a short throw or a handoff to Irving. As so, he goes up the middle, right across the 50-yard line into Carolina territory. So, with a Tampa Bay win, which is in all likelihood going to be the final result here, each of these two teams would be 8-9 with a 1-1 record against each other. And so the tiebreaker would then come down to tomorrow night as Irving goes up the middle. Carolina would clinch the division if the Atlanta Falcons were to win, because at that point, there would be a three-way tie at 8-9 in the NFC South. And with the division records or some sort of head-to-head factor there, Carolina gets the edge. If not, though, if the Saints get the win, it will be Tampa Bay heading to the playoffs. Handoff up the middle is going to Irving. He's got the first on third and short. I have to double check that I didn't just say that backwards, actually. Let me make sure with NFL playoff predictors, because that easily could be wrong. 2025 playoff machine. Let's use ESPN's. Why not? Mayfield takes the clock down to 5, pitches that one out to Irving, and he's going to lose 3. But a good exchange for 40 seconds. All right, week number 18. Let's say Tampa wins this. New Orleans wins, then it would be, yes. Okay, I did that. Get that one correct. So Tampa is going to be rooting for the Saints. That would be correct. Bucky Irving sucking wind here through the rain on 2nd and 13. 4-man rush. Mayfield steps and fires, and he continues to launch lasers. That one to his rookie out of Ohio State, Emeka Egbuka. He will pick up 17 on 2nd and long. And another Buccaneer first down. I think Pittsburgh does win that game. I think they will. We'll see what happens. Pittsburgh or Baltimore have a better chance in the playoffs? It's a good question, actually. Take a deep dive into that after this first and 10. Mayfield with a couple extra tight ends in there. Hands off to Irving. He'll pick up a pair. I don't know, man. I think if the Ravens use Derrick Henry appropriately, they would be the scarier team. That being said, I think Pittsburgh's a little bit injury-driven. I know Darnell Washington doesn't seem like a huge loss on the surface, but that kind of means a lot to that offense, too. As Rashada White this time up the middle will pick up a pair of his own. Is that better than Egbuka? I mean, I don't know if he's better. He has the better stats. But I think if Egbuka didn't get hurt, that would be different. I don't know. We'll see. Washington, I mean, yeah, a 6'7" tight end is unheard of. As Mayfield going to fire to the end zone, why not add one more for Chris Godwin? This is prime Baker Mayfield with the division on the line. You got to make him fight for something for it to really matter. 33-3 with the point after pending. 5 and change to go from Tampa, Florida. Going to be a whole lot of happy campers walking out of Raymond James. As the point after here from Chase McLaughlin. Up and good, 34-3. With a 31-0 run from Tampa Bay. I think we have a couple. I'm trying to remember what emotes I've been through in and out. We have, let's see, Commanders, Ravens, Saints, Eagles, and Bears, and of course the night-night emote as well. Some extra ones as well. That is not out of the realm of possibility with the more members that we get. Obviously, memberships are more bang for your buck during the summer rather than right here, right now, but there are some that have stuck around, still have 3 members going strong through the off season, and of course all of that silent appreciation is extremely gratuitously, I'm thankful for. 5:19 left. Let us get a pick six. I'm here for it now. I think we should be due for a real turnover here. We'll see what happens, though. With 5:19 to go. Bryce Young back to work here. At this point in the game, not sure he'd even be playing anymore. It might be the Red Rifles' turn. But we're not going to mess with it too hard there. 2-yard pickup on the handoff. And maybe Carolina trying to get out of here just as fast. With this game pretty much decided. Just awaiting a final score. Might as well end the live poll. 27 people voted. And the majority incorrect. As Young on a second. Nate Vita Vea again. Football loose. Scooped up by Carolina. One of the big boys out and running. And Young takes another sack from number 50. Vita Vea again. Prime interior lineman right there. As the Panthers going to line up to go on 3rd and 14. It's Bryce Young. Double team on Vita Vea. Young steps up. Heaves one down the sideline. One-on-one. Catch is made by Tommy Tremble. Levante David, the linebacker, made the 40-yard run with him. And not the most obvious route taken there by a tight end, but hey, a win's a win for the offense there. Carolina going to take anything they can get. Potentially heading into the playoffs with very little momentum, if any. Leggett's in motion. Young going to loft one. Caught down the middle for a pickup of 7. Got time for a Fields versus Browns game yet? We'll get there. Potentially, eventually. We will see what happens. 3.5 to go. I do plan to do something very exciting, though, in the offseason. As Young off the bootleg, checks it down to Tommy Tremble. And he'll pick up the second Carolina first down of this possession. And stay in bounds to keep the clock rolling. Going to try to potentially do a Madden Madness. I think that would be a lot of fun. Just make a 32-team bracket based on where each team finished before the NFL draft and make the ultimate NFL playoffs that way. As the handoff goes outside, Rico Dowdle getting loose, and Carolina finds the end zone in garbage time with a big run of 29. Rico finally finds his end destination. Chris Paul, I need Chris Paul's in the chat. That was, in fact, a CP3 touchdown. But there you go. Fitzgerald will step up for the point after. As it is up, and it's good. 6-play, 75-yard drive, capped off by a 29-yard Rico Dowdle touchdown. Rico Dowdle with a huge touchdown to cut the lead to 24. Pretty much. That's the one. There you go. All right, here we go. 2:54 left, and hopefully Tampa will take us home. I don't really think, well, I guess they're going to kick onside. Should have imagined that was going to happen. And Vita Vea with the onside kick recovery. Are you kidding me? What can he do? In what universe is that ever happening? I love it. I truly, truly love Vita Vea. Onside kick recoveries. Nothing like it. Baker Mayfield, again, with his best work of the year. 21 of 22. And 2 tuds. Heading into the final 2:54 of quarter 4. Any day now. There we go. With all due respect, trying to get up and out of here because this game has lost its interest. Hand off to Irving again. He'll pick up 3. Second down at 7. And all eyes on Saints Falcons if this result were to happen in real life. One more snap before the 2-minute warning. Bucky Irving lining up 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. They'll get the handoff again. Big time tackle. Painful one there for no gain. It is Trevin Wallace there on the tackle. The Vita game. The Vita Vea legacy game. 2-minute warning here from Raymond James and the Tampa faithful. Sticking it out through the rain. Seen a couple players having issues with the playing surfaces. Cade Otton goes down the middle, and he will pick up 5 of the needed 7. Wouldn't mind seeing Tampa go for this, I'm not going to lie. Not sure it'll happen, though. Might see another field goal. Disappointingly. Looks like Chase McLaughlin is going to get the nod here. 50 yards out through the rain. Good snap, good hold, kick on the way, and it's good. 37-10. Tampa Bay reinstates a 4-score lead heading into the final minute and 17 seconds. Feel like Vita has been playing for 30 years? I do too. I don't know. Guess they just really don't age too much. Defensive tackles, that is. Flash stats out of habit, yeah. Believe me, I almost ended up clipping this as if I'm going to go back and edit it out of habit as well. But rest assured, no need to worry about that in either department. Don't have to worry about updating scores and standings or fantasy standings or any of that. This is fun, leisurely, live streaming football that we get to do just a couple days out of the year. Not to say I don't love the competitive aspect, but this is just as entertaining. You don't mind it. First and 10 at the 33-yard line for Bryce Young. See if he can find another touchdown drive here. Just for gets and shiggles. And if it can happen. Young from the 33, 3-man rush, and he will find McMillan, who, to our dismay, goes out of bounds after a half-dozen-yard pickup. NFL playoffs will be good for the Bears. I think they're going to have a pretty fair draw. It would be unfortunate if they drew the Rams, I think. Well, I was going to say, it's pretty much Green Bay at this point. Which, that might be a little bit scary, I don't know. We'll see. As Tommy Tremble goes in motion. Young collects a low step. Hits McMillan, and again he'll launch forward to pick up that first down, 7-yard pickup. What up, Josiah Hernandez? It has been the offseason, but we are back for a little bit of playoff implication football. And then after the wild card, we are going to be back for the divisional round, the conference titles, and the Super Bowl. Looking forward to that. Young on first and 10 will fire this one high, but caught. Great hands there from the future potential offensive rookie of the year in McMillan again. I don't know, man. Chiefs might have lost the plot. With Mahomes getting hurt and Kelsey looking to retire, I think it might be the end of a dynasty. Might be the end of an era. Young going to fire this one. Complete check down football. And minimal yardage there. 8-yard pickup to Jalen Coker. And with time ticking away, that is going to take us to the end of this one. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers live to see another day. 37-10 domination, tying the top of the NFC South. And they are all Saints fans tomorrow with a New Orleans win. They will find their way into a playoff position hosting either the Rams, Seahawks, or the 49ers. And with that being said, great to be back. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Join me tomorrow night for that NFC West battle. Seattle at San Francisco. Should be a great one there from Levi Stadium.